right. How are you? Oh, some
Good.
difficulty getting started. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
So, okay. So I wanted to just say it's nice to talk to you again face to face, and also um, just say it's 5 years. It's 5 years since you graduated clinical wellness, MLD. Yes.
Yes.
And I did actually feature an article showing some of your earlier thermographies, right, in on a blog in Aztec. But I just want to sort of point out that you came into the class with a very clear state of mind of where you were going with this. You came in as a thermographer. Can you explain that to everybody?
Thermography, it uses the heat from your body to record a digital image. So we're looking for, it's kind of like a weather map, and you're looking at the hot, which indicates the inflammations, and then the cold, which is kind of a restriction of blood flow. And either one can be problematic. And then we want to correct that, balance that. So
Okay.
that's what I did previously. I was a licensed massage therapist. I really wasn't going to be a licensed massage therapist. I didn't want to use it. I just wanted to do thermography.
Okay, so so when you got to sort of do thermography, you could record the information, but then you had no real way to treat it. Is that right?
Correct. Yes. Yes, I had lots of clients, and I was doing the scanning, the imaging, and then it's kind of, when you see a lot of red, I'm going to see if I can pull it up really quick on my phone so that we can see an image. Maybe I can show it on here. I'm not sure. But when clients see what's supposed to be green is what it's supposed to be recorded in, the color of green is that median color that you want. And then they're seeing all this red and yellow, and white is actually indicating the highest heat. So when they're seeing all of that, and then they look at you and they're like, oh, now what do we do? And I'm like, I have no idea. And then I experienced a personal problem, and then it became even a little more important. That's sad to say, but it's just true.
No, but that's interesting. So so you've got the results, and then, like you said, what do they do? So that's when you started researching MLD, I assume.
Yes, I'm gonna see if I can. This is really small, but we'll see if we. I don't know if we can see this imaging. Can you see this?
I don't know that. I mean, I can see it, but
The
yeah,
color, Maggie. It's not real well.
it's not really good. Just
Okay,
drop it down a little bit. You're just, yeah. But I think what we can do is actually, if you send me some pics, I can
okay,
perhaps post them after or something
sure.
yeah, okay.
Okay,
All
yeah.
right, good. So okay, so then you started researching MLD, and that's when you came across the clinical wellness program, which I suppose suited what you want to do. Tell me about that.
Correct. Well, so the doctors that I worked with thermography, I did the imaging on myself, and they said, because I had a history to follow, I had several images, and they said it's just your lymph, and you need to find someone to do lymphatic drainage. And I'm like, oh, well, that's easy. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I know lots of therapists. It wasn't easy. I did a lot of calling, a lot of researching, and I always said, are you certified? They're obviously licensed already as a massage therapist, but are you certified in lymph drainage? And I couldn't find anyone.
Right.
So I started working on myself, and then rescanned with the imaging and was just blown away. This was before I had any training, but I knew from just the techniques that I was using, it had cleared a lot of the lymphatic congestion. So yeah, then I researched, and obviously different schools, a couple different lines of thinking out there. And I did research for quite a while when I found you. And I'm like, I think this just really resonates with me. This makes sense to me. And of course, I don't do things halfway. I signed up, and I'm like, if I'm going to come down and do it, I'm going to do the whole thing. So
So Amy, I'll never forget. I'll absolutely never forget your arrival or journey here, because I get this call class is imminent, and I get this class that you've actually broken down in your Prius, which had 330,000 miles on it. I'll never forget that. So
Yes.
to make an entrance into the class, but what was the biggest thing is that you made the commitment, that you continued coming, that it was
Yeah.
a priority to get to that class. That was huge.
Yeah.
That was absolutely
Yeah.
huge.
That's true. I blew up my motor on the way down to get trained for lymph.
Well, you got another motor. How much
Can always get another motor. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so go on from there. What's happened since in this 5 years? Tell us step by step the progress that you've made, if you like.
Well, I think I really just committed to, you're the expert. You're telling me this is what I need to do. I'm going to come back and this is what I'm going to do. So I did have, I had a practice. I had clients and I was imaging them already. So I kind of had a standby list and I had approval from them. I said, I'm going down for training. And when I come back, can I work on you? And something that you had said in class was, I think some suggestions of how to get started. And you said, I believe it was you, you said just offer so many sessions and do it for half price during your, like while you learn, kind of a training thing. And so they're like, sure. And they went for it. And so from the beginning, I always scheduled a series of them. And so I started with 6, following it with the thermography, just to see how it all turned out. So I found that with a series of 6, you could get a lot of results. Where I'm at today, I'm actually getting a little braver. It's like, let's just go to 8. 6 is good, but let's just go to 8.
That's
So
great.
I am actually now scheduling them from their initial appointment. At that time, they literally schedule 8 appointments and they're one every single week. And I tell them we just don't miss because it's lymph. It's kind of like that siphon. It's very thick and gelled and we need to get it thinned and we want to keep it going. And so yeah, I started out my very, very first client. This was exciting. Got some background information, or she had been bedridden the summer before, very, very ill, high levels of inflammation, and wasn't sure, didn't have a diagnosis, just very ill. So I started working on her. I just did a rotation of the whole body. Obviously, you can't do the whole body at one time, but during the 6, I covered every area a couple times. And I remember this was just my deep tissue training. I'm sitting here working on this lady and I'm working on the nose and it's almost embarrassing to me. I said, I'm charging a lot of money to this client and I'm barely doing anything. Like I'm just barely doing anything. And it was just that I want to do right by my clients and I just feel like I'm not. Well, we finished her series. She started on a Monday. So she did Monday, Tuesday, we skipped Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then she did another Monday, Tuesday. And then on Thursday, she came back and rescanned and she walked into my office and she said, Amy, she's like, I have not had a sense of smell in quite some time. I can't smell anything. She said this morning on the way here, we stopped at my daughter's house. She has a newborn baby girl. And I walked in and I could smell her dirty diaper. She's like, that's never something you want to smell, but it was amazing. And it was just kind of cool and confirmation because it was the nose that I was, kind of feeling like I wasn't doing anything. And then that was the thing that was affected one of the highest. And it's just always stayed with me. And I've always said, yes, we're definitely doing things very light touch, but we're doing a lot of things. So that's good.
And have the scans continued to demonstrate that?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Good. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll probably post some pictures following this, Amy. That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so go on. 5 years. What now?
So 5 years. So in that 5 years, I actually went back to school. I went online schooling for traditional naturopathy. I just always need to know more. I have to, my clients, how can you help them more? And so I do a lot of testing in my office with my clients. We do deep detox with very, very chronic Lyme. I don't know, you name it. We see people that just parasites. I've gotten to the point in my practice, a lot of doctors will refer clients to me, and when they come from a doctor, it's like, oh boy, what's wrong with this client? Because if they can't work with them, this is pretty serious. I just recently had one with parasites. A nurse who was so ill, she had to retire early, couldn't function, and she's doing phenomenally. But so in the middle of everything that I've done with my clients from that side of it, I've always kept lymph as kind of that core, because I'm so convinced that if your lymphatic system is not well, you
Mhm.
can't move out the toxins.
Right.
And we just hear all these terrible stories of people herxing really badly and getting sick. And my thermography will bear that out. Um, Sometimes I've worked on people doing lymph, and it's too much for them. That it can literally, the inflammation gets higher. So I love having that thermography to go back to, but I've also just learned the process of what you need to do to prep your body, how fast or slow to go for different things. But lymph is that foundation. Whatever protocol they're doing, lymph is at the core.
So what I would say, Amy, is if somebody gets higher inflammation, is it because you've done too long a session? Is that usually?
Quite possibly. One, either too long a session if they're really, really ill, or they haven't been prepped properly. So we know that lymphatic work is good to open the drainage pathways, but sometimes when they're really chronically ill or their liver's not functioning the best or whatever, I do have to do some drainage supplement wise, some drainage work with them. And really, most of the time now, I come to understand it's just a full body detox. I have a full body detox that I do with them. It just sets that stage to get their body ready. And then I'm pretty sure we'll never have a hiccup when we go into it.
Okay.
So that's
I have
pretty much what I've seen.
one more question. When you are treating these people, you stay specific to where the areas of the inflammation are.
Um, so the pattern that I see with thermography a lot for really chronic clients, it's the inflammation just it's overall. So, with terminus here, we know if that's not open, there's just going to be a lot of head issue. And then you just see a lot of times nowadays with like issues with heavy metals and the Lyme, it likes the central nervous system. It goes to the brain. So we see high levels in the brain. But if this isn't open, that can't drain. So overall, I find I usually do back, I do the nape, and then flip and do the front. Sometimes that's in the series, I'll add in limbs a little bit depending on the situation, but I kind of just do overall front and back on the head and then the core more.
So yeah, you're working basically on that core
Mhm.
aspect. That's great.
Yes.
Do you
Yeah,
do any intraoral work at all?
absolutely. So yeah, I just love Anne. Oh my goodness. So I don't know if you remember when I first got started, basically, we found out that my husband was diagnosed with chronic illness. And so I called you and I said, okay, what's the best protocol? What do we do here? And you said, your best friend is going to be the intraoral and the ears. And I'm like, but I don't do those two things. And he's like, well, you're gonna have to. And so I said, okay. So we got real comfortable with those two. And yes, the intraoral work, I can tell you, there's just nothing can touch it. You can feel on the neck when that tissue is so tight, it's so full, you can't hardly indent it. And then you go to do the intraoral work, it just softens it. It's, I don't even think 10 minutes of work is needed intraorally, and you can feel a significant difference. So
Yeah.
yes,
You see
that and the
the,
ears. Sorry.
I was just say, yeah, you see the client swallowing almost immediately as well. They're sort of feeling it. Yeah.
Yes, and draining. They always say, "Oh," and they're swallow, swallow, swallow. I'm like, "Are you draining?" Yes. And then the ears, I think with the vagus nerve, that so
Yes.
the intraoral and the ears have just become two of my favorite parts. Obviously, abdomen. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's all, but those two
Yes.
definitely.
I would say ditto, ditto. Yes. I think basically very big. The ears are huge. And also, I mean, I just love the head and neck work because of the drainage of the cerebrum that's coming from there, and then this whole connection with the ears to the whole gut. So yes, it's brilliant.
Did
So
you say the connection of the what to the gut?
the vagus nerve to the
Oh,
gut.
yes.
Yes, yes. So yeah, so
Yes.
this whole thing of you're not just treating that area, you're treating the
Yes.
whole. Yeah.
And I've never honestly, I kind of, I try never to get into too much of a routine, but I've kind of gotten used to using it mostly for the drainage aspect and lessening that inflammation. I had it's maybe been a month now. I had a doctor come in to see me. He was ill. I mean, he literally came into my office and he was holding on to the door frame and things to get back to my office. And then I tried to scan him with thermography because I always kind of went that before and after. And it was hard for me. If you've ever been around someone in so much pain where it's just like, uh, uh, it was from deep inside and he was in so much pain.
Oh my
And
God.
I finally said, okay, just get on the table. We're,
Mhm.
no more paperwork, no more nothing, just get on the table. And I've never done it for the pain effect specifically. And so I just got him on the table and I'm like, okay, here we go. And it was the first time I've worked on this, doctor. Get up there, just start working, set your intention. And I could see his eyes kind of go off to the side, and I could tell he was just thinking. I could just see it, and I just kept working. And he goes, huh? He goes, it's the funniest thing. He goes, when you work on me, he's like, literally the pain is reduced by at least 50%.
Uh-huh.
That fast. I'm like, okay.
No, I've used it extensively for pain. It's my go-to for pain all the time, whether
Yeah.
it's post-surgery, knee operations, whether it's pre-surgery, whether it's basically from trauma, injury, and it is always my go-to. And just recently, I was working on somebody who had had all of their teeth removed, and the bruising was extensive, and the inflammation was extensive, and basically her pain was reduced just like that, one session. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
So
So that was fun.
it's fun. Uh, okay, so what else? What else? What would you say? I believe you're actually expanding your business now.
Yes, yes, I am. Just this week I signed a lease on a new office. Um, Up until now, it's just been me. This last year, I hired an office manager. And then, yep, just this week I signed. So I'm going from 2 rooms to 5. So yeah,
That's
very, very excited.
And
Yes.
you're taking on more therapists,
I'm
more.
looking to hire a therapist. This is providing me with more. It's surprising to me. I am having a problem finding massage therapists who will commit to going to train further specifically for it. And I guess I don't quite understand it. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
It's probably because they don't quite understand it either, Amy.
It is. It's that, and it's a commitment to travel and get the training and be off work and all of that. But I'm like, it is. When I first started, I had to educate the doctors around here. I just remember my step of faith. There was no one who really understood what this did, and now I have to go back. Literally, I think I'm going to have to go back to school where I was trained and educate them on lymph and the benefits. And yeah, it's education.
It is education, yes, absolutely. And of course, unfortunately, there's so many people saying they do lymph drainage, and of course, it's
Yes.
the furthest thing from lymph drainage. So,
Yes. And I have an associate's degree. I came out of the program. We are allowed to say we do lymph drainage. I know exactly I know exactly how much training that is, and nothing. Zero. And yet there's people out there saying they do lymph drainage. And I cannot tell you the number of times I've kind of just stopped telling clients anymore. I just wait till our first session. They say, "Oh, we've had lymph drainage before." I say, "Okay." After our first session, I said, "Was it anything like you've had in the past?" "Oh, not at all. Not at all."
yes, yeah, I know it's sad, but we'll get there. We'll get
We
there.
will.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. It's only been nearly 100 years in the making. Can you imagine? It's 1930 when Voda started all of this.
Yes.
So we're just carrying on
Yes.
the legacy.
Yes. Yes.
What else? What else do you want to say?
Um, I'm really not sure. Aside from, it goes back to not only the doctors need educated, the therapists need educated, that the public needs educated on what all it can do for them. I had a gentleman in the other day, and I have a lot of men in my practice, which kind of surprises me, but they carry the load, and they have to do a lot for their families and the stress that they're going through. I just have a lot of male clients, and it was so neat because I had one again just the other day, and we did do a series of 8. I usually wait 2 weeks and rescan. I kind of want things to settle a little bit, and he cleared beautifully. And the shock on their face, it's just that's the part that I always love is
Yeah, I
that they are
agree.
feeling better, things are moving. Um,
Yeah, no, it's good. It's really good. So I think the only thing that I would say is I assume that you are running at maximum, that you're fully booked, and this is why you're expanding your business.
I am booked out currently, 3 going into 4 months with no openings. Yes.
Yeah.
And I did commit. I remember there was a time early on when I had to, I was still doing my regular deep tissue, and then I would go back and forth and back and forth. And I remember the time that I said no. I literally said I will not accept any new clients for anything other than lymphatic work.
Very
That
good.
was a step of faith, but yeah, it's all I do now. You have taught me structure still plays a huge role into it. So with my clients, I do still work on their structure. It's critical, but it's entwined again with that series of 8, and the primary focus is lymph. So
Yeah. No, and also you can really affect structure with the therapeutic techniques of MLD. So basically,
yes, absolutely.
we treat it, it is, Voda called it the great normalizer. I think it is the great normalizer. Um, I think you are sensational. I've loved talking with you, and if you send me pictures, we'll post this, and then I'll post some pictures with following up.
Okay.
And
All
thank
right.
you for your
Sounds
time.
good.
Great.
You are welcome. Like I know I text you, I know I tell you, I don't have heroes in my life very much, but you would be one of them.
Oh, Amy, don't make me cry, please. Thank you.
Well, it's just true because I wouldn't be where I am. And you have always believed in me. I remember in the beginning, I would be texting you, messaging you, I'm like, what do I do? And you've always been there. So I wouldn't be where I am. I
Oh,
wouldn't.
Amy, thank you so much.
You're
Really,
welcome.
that's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Take care.
Love you. Take
Love
care.
you too. Bye bye.
Bye.